Hello, Red Wave. Welcome to Beware of Bulldogs. This is the land of all good things Fresno State sports. And, well, you are going to get honest things here as well. We are going to talk a little bit of basketball, and there's going to be some honest opinions. You could be nice and still tough. We are going to talk about baseball. We are going to talk about water polo and a couple other things, some finishes in the sports world. There's a lot of good news within Fresno State athletics that you may not have heard about. And we're here to share that with you. My name's Caleb Nail. Joining me is Caleb Pletz, as always. Caleb Pletz is this guy's great. I got to tell you about Caleb real quick. He's got a kid on the way. And now it's a boy, and I have a boy. But if I have a girl, he's one of the few dads who I will allow his son to marry my daughter. Right? He's that good of a guy. So, Caleb, thank you for joining us.
Wow, that is a glowing review. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean that would be something if our kids end up marrying each other. Then I guess I don't know what that would make our relation, but that would be something. But yeah, it's another week here following Fresno State sports, and I think we do have more positive than negative. Thankfully, everyone is kind of outshining basketball, and I think Bob in the chat is right. Let's just get basketball out of the way here first, and then we can get on to the more positive things.
I'm with you. Let's do it. If you're in the chat, say hi. Let us know what beverage you're drinking. That's what we do here. What your beverage you're enjoying while the show's going on. And let us know where you're watching from. You can follow us on X at beware_Bulldogs. To be honest, guys, Instagram's not on my phone anymore. So if you have reached out on Instagram, I am sorry. I go create an X account. I'm on there. It was too distracting. I had to get rid of it, Caleb. I had to. It was... Anyways,
fair enough.
All right. Real quick, basketball gets absolutely blasted by San Diego State. Not much to be said. 73-41 final score. I think this is the least amount of points we've scored at home. I was reading something about that.
Like this season or all time?
My guess would be this season, but it didn't specify from what I read. Maybe someone in the chat saw it, but either way, it was really bad. Caleb, I got a kick out of the story that you told about when this game was going on and you were checking in on it. Can you please tell that again?
Well, so, Saturday night, thankfully, was not at the game, just having a relaxing evening with my wife. We were, watching a movie, but, I had Twitter up and, occasionally, to check the score. And I see Jackson Moore post the screenshot of the box score at the time with the Dogs down 40-10. And I just thought, on one hand, I cannot believe that we are getting beat that bad, but also considering the personnel challenges and coaching challenges, it was also completely believable against a really good San Diego State team. So it was like perfectly cannot believe it. And yeah, of course, that's the score of this game. So yeah, I didn't watch any of it. I don't know. I agree with Bob in the chat that I do feel badly that this is the night we decide to honor Rod Higgins, who had a really remarkable career for Fresno State and just was a solid player and here for 4 years and part of some really special teams, including I believe he was on the NIT champion team. So yeah, just definitely mixed emotions for most of the fans, I have to imagine.
Yes. I mean, there's not much to say. Bob mentions injuries. We have a lot of them. Our two bigs are out. Donovan Yap is out. But I agree with you, Bob. It doesn't matter. How many times can you blame injuries? You can't. You got to be able to play. You got to be able to play through it. Isaiah Hill led the team in scoring 12 points. He went 5 for 14 from the floor, 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. Xavier Dussel was the next one. He shot 13 shots. He went 4 for 13, 2 for 10 from the 3-point line, finishes with 10 points. Our leading rebounder was Leo. He had 8. We were out rebounded 52-34. Positives. I mean, we forced 5 turnovers. I don't know.
Yeah, hard to really take any positives away from this. At least, we're still playing. We haven't quit on the whole season. I mean, so looking at the remaining 4 regular season games, we have one that's, I would say, legitimately winnable against Wyoming. Would you agree with that?
I'm going to say no, actually, right now. With this team right now, I don't think any games are winnable, unless we get somebody back. And I haven't looked to see if they're coming back, when they're coming back, if they do it like football and they just don't say a word about it at all. I don't know.
So, because I'm thinking at this point, the coaching staff doesn't seem like they're doing much. I know that there was some pictures on Twitter, like during the game, of the whole coaching staff just sitting on the bench and not really coaching or screaming or doing anything. So at this point, I don't know if this would even be like possible, but just let go of the whole coaching staff. Look, just cut the loss right now. Let them all go, and just have Isaiah Hill be the player coach, and just let the guys go out there and have fun and just kind of play some pickup ball. And maybe they get lucky and they have a really hot shooting night and they take down one of these teams for the last 4 games here. I don't really see the downside, and I think that would help player morale. So I don't know if I'm sure there's rules against not having any coaching staff present, but just an idea. I think it would make it fun, and I think it would get the fans into it too. Because I mean, 2 of the games left are home. If it was no coaching staff and player run, I think I would try to show up for that, because that would just be so interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely illegal, but I have the solution, Caleb.
Okay,
we will do it for free. We'll show up game day. We'll sign a contract, right? Liability, whatever. We'll let the kids play. I mean, I've talked to some of them. Great kids, absolutely love them. Shoot, Leo scored 30 points. Why isn't Leo scoring 20 plus points a night? But come on, we got to do something about this. And I agree. Player morale is key here. They need to run the show, and having negative energy around 24/7 is not the key to success. And I believe that is kind of what you have right now, when the coach's entire coaching staff is just sitting on the bench in their sweatsuits, not even trying to dress up. It's just, it's rough, Caleb. It's rough. And next game is against Utah State, who's a top 25 team in the country. And we were looking at it. We're only 9-point underdogs here.
I really would hate to bet against our Bulldogs here, but just based on this most recent performance, I don't know what the odds makers are thinking here. Unless maybe they have the inside track on injuries and we don't. Maybe someone's coming back. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, my other thought is, okay, if we're shooting 24% from the floor, we need to double the amount of shots we're putting up, right? I don't know if that's even possible, but we just need to go.
What I said. Oh my God.
We just need to go play way faster. First guy that touches the ball across half court is just putting it up. And like I said, maybe we have a hot shooting night and we put up 90. And I legitimately, if we're playing 5 guards, I think that's our only shot.
I agree. I mean, shoot the ball. Everybody should be. This game, I don't mind that Ducell he went 2 for 10 from the 3-point line. Look, he struggled. It's just, I mentioned it. We're cursed shooting the ball. We're cursed with whatever's going on in this program right now. Someone does not want us being able to make shots. It's just how it is. So you got to shoot a lot. Catch the ball, shoot it. If Ducell's our best shooter, he needs to shoot 12 3-pointers a game. Just catch and shoot it. I mean, it's just. But the real thing is, Caleb, and what we've said from day one is that these kids should have been putting up shot after shot after shot in practice. Instead, they decided to work on defense. And even then, well, if you're going to work on defense, you better be good at defense, and it's not happening. So,
appreciate the confidence from Bill in the chat that if this is a good point, if Air Force can take down New Mexico at home, then Fresno State does have a chance to take down Utah State. So that looks like a Boise icon too. So appreciate the positive thoughts.
Bill. Yeah, I appreciate Bill and the I know he's got a Boise flag in there, but thank you, Bill. And I will say this about a positive. Here's a positive. Once the conference tournament starts, records go away. 0-0, man. We can start over. Saying there's a chance. That's right, Andrew. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well, I think that's it with men's basketball for Bulldogs. It's I love college basketball. I've had a great time keeping up with the rest of the country and the Mountain West, especially. This has been a struggle. As much as we cheer for the success of the boys and the players there in Fresno, it's been hard. Women's basketball, I don't have them pulled up, but let's talk about baseball, Caleb. This was so fun to watch over the weekend. This team was so fun. We kept up with them. You and I both kept up with them over the weekend. We had a loss earlier in the week, an 8-6 loss against Sacramento State in Sacramento. And that game was pushed back a day, by the way. Then we had Fullerton. And Fullerton, we talked about it last week, where everyone's looking forward to this huge series. Well, the first game, Friday night, it's supposed to be their ace. I don't know if he was. We win 8-0. Game 2, we did lose 4-5. We were up in that game. We should have won, in my opinion. A couple errors, and we don't finish strong. I think Noah pitched, and I think he had like 90 pitches through 5 innings. But we should have took that game. And then game 3, we win 2-1. Caleb, talk to me about this weekend series against Fullerton and what you saw. I had a blast watching this team. We're legit.
Definitely. This is a confidence booster, at least on the fan side, thinking, okay, obviously we don't know a whole lot about Fullerton, but they're a traditional power, and they're going to put a good product on the field. So Fresno State winning a series at Fullerton is huge. And so credit to Coach Overland and the staff for having the team ready. And credit to Jake Dixon for kind of proving me wrong. He was out there dealing on Friday. I know I was a little critical last week about just him not looking too lively, at least, the ball coming off his hand, in the first start and the opening weekend. So he shut him down. I mean, 7 innings of scoreless ball, and, he had the ball moving, and he was just in control. So credit to Jake Dixon for going out there and, really just shutting him down. And then, out of the bullpen, Vic Arreola has been really solid. 2 shutout innings on Friday, and then 1 shutout inning on Sunday, setting it up for Hopfe to get the save on Sunday. So, the bullpen's been really solid here. And, thankfully the bats, were alive on Friday night. 8 runs, Grady Morgan with a home run, a couple doubles from Morgan and Saldivar. So it was a very good opening day performance. I know Saturday I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I know that Beal kind of did enough to keep us in the game, and like you mentioned, a couple errors there that probably cost the Dogs a chance to win. Bright spot, we're looking at the bullpen again. Jake Riding, 3 innings scoreless pitching at the end of the game to close it out. And if we keep getting these pitching performances out of the bullpen, this is going to be a really powerful team, because typically on a college baseball team, the bullpen could be the weakness, once you get beyond the initial starters. So that, I guess, is the bright spot we can take away from a tough loss on Saturday. And then Man, you get into Sunday, and Jack Anger is such a fun pitcher to watch. I mean, he pitches with emotion, and he throws hard too and competes. And for a sophomore, it's really fun to see that, because he's definitely the future of this pitching staff here, coming in and just being solid here on Sundays and making big improvements from last year. And another tight game, not a lot of offense being produced. The Dogs scored on a walk and the RBI single by Hopfy in the 8th. So, another kind of do it all game for Tommy Hopfy, with getting the go ahead RBI and then coming in and shutting the door for a quick save. So, really strong performance by this team. And I think hitting wise, we're kind of seeing some struggles on the back end. The 5 through 9 hitters in the lineup. And it's a really strong production at the front end. So obviously it's a long season. These guys are still kind of getting the feel for live action in the game, but very encouraging. I think that this team is showing that they can definitely be competing for Mountain West Championship.
I agree. So I'm just looking 1 through 4, 1 through 5. I should say 1 through 5. They're great. They're doing just fine. Grady Morgan has been so entertaining. They started pitching around him. They didn't want anything to do with him. On Sunday, he walked twice. I think they intentionally walked him earlier in the week, and he forced that walk. The plate discipline for this team has been great. I will say Rocco Pepe was left on base 3 times on Sunday. So there you're talking that back end. We really got to finish. Bobby Bombs is going to come on. I'm not worried about him. He's going to be fine. And then, you got Ben Newton and Marco Pericello. Those guys can play and they can do some damage at the plate. They just got to get into the swing of things and we'll be fine. And then it's over. Then I would say minimum 5 runs a game once everybody figures it out. But I did want to mention Rocco was left on 3 times. So,
and I think for this weekend, we definitely need to mention just the amount of travel that Paul Loeffler is doing right now, because he called the baseball game in Fullerton on Friday night, was back in Fresno for basketball Saturday, and made it back down for Sunday for baseball in Fullerton. So that's just some awesome dedication from the voice of the Bulldogs. And on Sunday, I listened to the whole broadcast on the radio, and it was awesome. I mean, I think that listening to Paul call a baseball game is very fun, and I definitely enjoyed getting to have that experience. So I feel like we do need to thank him, because he truly is special for our program.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Bob. Dogs play like this, they can beat anybody in the country. It was great. I don't think there's any reason why we can't go out, win the Mountain West, and then surprise some people. Well, who knows if we surprise people or not. And then Bob also continues to say it was Bush League, because that walk on Brady Morgan prevented Grady from hitting for the cycle. And yes, I agree. Totally Bush League. Right. In my mind, I deal with some old school baseball players. They hate Fullerton. I hate Fullerton. They did it because they hate us, and I hate Fullerton even more now because of that. Perfect.
Yeah, hopefully these 2 teams meet in the postseason, because, typically in the regional play, the West Coast teams usually get grouped together. So it would be, kind of a nice rematch. And it seemed like maybe Fullerton was on the younger side, because I think a handful of pitchers they threw out there were freshmen. So maybe their younger team still, figuring things out. But overall, really solid weekend for the Dogs. And I mean, this weekend, it doesn't stop. We got a conference game number 1, or conference series number 1 with the Aztecs coming to town. So Dogs need to keep the foot on the gas here and keep putting out solid performances, because like we've mentioned, the Mountain West baseball conference is really difficult with not getting to play every team twice. You need to make sure and take advantage of the victories, and especially at home. I mean, you need to take advantage of that, and winning these series are going to be very important. So Aztecs coming to town for a 3-game series. Dogs should be in prime position to hopefully get 2 out of 3. maybe even a sweep. I think they can do it. I haven't seen enough of San Diego State, but the Diamond Dogs are playing really well.
Yeah, we have a big home stretch here. So thank goodness. So Paul doesn't have to run around everywhere too much. So he's going to fall around the basketball team probably. But yeah, San Diego State, March 1, 2, and 3 this weekend. Then Pacific comes to town, UOP, March 5th, that Tuesday night game. And then we get Irvine coming to town, the 7th and 8th. And then the 9th and 10th, we have Columbia in Fresno at Pete Biden Field at Bob Bennett Stadium. So nice home stretch there. Make sure you get out, support the boys. They've been a lot of fun to watch. If you've been listening to the radio, I encourage you to go out to the field and watch the stadium. It's great. This seems a lot of fun. And then after that, then we get Sac State again. We got to go back to Sacramento. I'd love to get that win. So, okay. Looking at the chat here, we do have a mention. Sam Droid 559 mentions softball, and he says we're lucky. Well, let me go back. Softball is on a run right now. Okay, softball had a big weekend, so they started the year with a 20-8 loss to South Dakota State, and everyone was freaking out. What's going to happen if you listen to Beware of Bulldogs and you're one of us? We were all saying it's okay. Chill. We're going to be fine. And then they go on a 1, 2, 3, 4 game win streak, lose to Utah Valley, which had to hurt Coach Stacey May Johnson, her former school, and or where she coached at. Then they split with Oregon State, went 1-1. Then they went 1-1 with St. Mary's, beat Sac State. Then they went on a big win streak Friday, beat Hawaii. Then they beat Mississippi State, which was the big win. They're ranked number 25 in the country. They beat them 3-1 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, they played a doubleheader. They played Long Beach State and Cal Poly and won both of those games. So huge. So that I should say they're on a 6-game win streak, 7-game win streak right now, and playing well. And Sam Droid says that we're kind of lucky. We do not have good pitching. So I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched an entire game for our softball team, and I'm not the greatest at understanding what is a good softball pitcher and what is not a good softball pitcher. I will say this, though. I know what a W is and an L is, and we have more W's than L's. That makes me really excited. And when we beat a team that's ranked nationally, I get really excited about that. So great to see the softball team having some success after that first game. And a lot of people were starting to freak out.
I agree. Yeah. I didn't get to watch any of the games, so I can't really confirm whether our pitching is not good. But when we're giving up 0 runs, 1 run, 2 run, that's a pretty good performance, I think. So, maybe they just started a little shaky, and then we're getting everything worked out here. Who knows? We'll have to obviously watch it throughout the rest of the season. It is a long season, still early. We do need to highlight Kennedy Bunker, who was the Mountain West Player of the Week for softball for representing the Dogs. So big congrats to her. I think I saw she hit like over 500 on the weekend. So really strong performance from her. And well, if our pitching is not good, like Sam George said, then the bats are definitely going to have to be there. So hopefully Bunker and the rest of the gals there can keep up.
It sounds like both softball and baseball kind of in the same position, or we thought that was the case for baseball. Pitching, questionable. Hitting is going to be there. Hopefully the pitching proves us wrong on both diamonds. So I did want to mention this, Caleb. A pitcher from San Diego State won Mountain West Baseball Player of the Week. What? That's a joke. I mean, I'm giving it to either Grady or Anchor. Oh, right? I don't know.
Yeah, if you're looking at the performance that Dixon put up on Friday night, 7 innings scoreless. That's what the guy that won the award this week put up, a 7 innings scoreless ball. So it seems like maybe they don't want to give it to a Fresno State Bulldog 2 weeks in a row. We'll see. I mean, we saw last season Murph Gray won 3 or 4 Freshman of the Week awards in a row. So obviously there's no policy against it, but maybe a little bit of bias there in the voting or whoever decides it. So that's all right. Like you mentioned, we just care about W's and not L's. So as long as we're getting victories here, we should be okay. But it is nice to get those extra accolades.
Yeah, I don't like seeing our boys get robbed of something that they earned, and they earned Player of the Week. Multiple players on our team earned Player of the Week, in my opinion. But I am a little biased. Next game for softball, by the way, is Friday. They play Weber State. Next game at home is March 8th, Friday at 5:30. They play Northridge, March 8th. So head on out to Margie Wright Diamond, March 8th. That's Friday night at 5:30. We said we had some fun things coming up and a lot of positive notes on the list today. And that's because of you guys. I put it out on X to, what would you guys like to talk about? And Andrew Worth says, you can't forget this, guys. Highest program finishes for swim and dive at the conference championships, and same for track at the indoor championships. Highest program finishes for swim and dive and indoor track at the conference champion. So congrats to those teams. I do. Well, this is what where Bulldog is all about. This is why we do it. We need to bring them a little more attention. That's what I'm thinking, Kilb, because I didn't see it that anywhere.
I agree. Yeah, we mentioned before we hit record that I had no idea. Obviously, it didn't make it onto the Fresno State Athletics main account, so that's how I wasn't aware of it. But now I'm on Go Bulldogs. I'm kind of looking through this article. Like, okay, swim and dives finishes 4th in the team results for the Mountain West Championship, with a score of 886.50. I have no idea how the scoring works, but 4th place, the champion was San Diego State, so that's a bummer. But obviously, if it's strong finish for the swim and dive program, that's definitely a positive thing to hear. I haven't really ever followed swim and dive, and but as long as most of the programs are trending upward, I think that's what we're shooting for right here. So hopefully, basketball can take note.
Well, there's really only one way to go, and that is up from there. Little check in on water polo, because we've been following the water polo team this season. Last time we checked in on them, they blew out Fresno Pacific and Whittier. They went to the Barbara Calbus Invitational in Irvine. They played Biola, crushed them. Then they had a string of 3 games, one starting with number 6 Cal, and they ended up losing to Cal 9-5. Then they beat number 12th ranked Long Beach State 12-9 in overtime. And then we played USC, a rematch there after we beat them when they were ranked number 1 in the country. And they beat us 12-9. So they went 2-1 over the weekend. Those are tough games. I should say that overtime loss to Long Beach State was on Saturday, right after we played Cal. So double header there. And they went into overtime, and then the next day we got to play USC. I mean, no excuses, but I'm just saying. Long weekend. It's wide open. I mean, I think for the national championship, it's wide open, and our girls are right in the middle of it. They're competing for it. Next game is March 9th. That's Saturday against Cal Baptist. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So they get a well-deserved break. And that is in Fresno. So March 9th, and that's the conference opener against Cal Baptist. Any words on water polo, Caleb?
No, but I think March 9th might have to be my inaugural or my baptism into water polo, just watching or fandom, because it's a Saturday, so good, don't have to work, and yeah, hopefully I can get out there and try to learn a little bit more about volleyball and watch our dogs, because I seems like Cal Baptist, I think we would be better than them, but who knows? I'll have to show up and find out.
I think that's a good idea. Let's do it. I'm
All
in.
right.
So some looking at comments here. Bulldogs Bob, I know I haven't got to volleyball. I did reach out twice, and I haven't heard back. So I can't say I didn't try. I will try again. We'll try and get somebody on here for volleyball. I really wanted to get someone on for volleyball, and we got to do multiple sports. We got to catch up with what's going on. Anything else, Caleb, in the Fresno State? Oh, okay. Well, I did get another comment, and they want us just to say Mikey Keene, greatest quarterback in football right now. If he stays healthy, we can talk about it. That's I think.
Yeah, if he stays healthy and if Fresno State offensive line stays intact, I think that he has a very good shot at being the best quarterback in the Mountain West.
I agree. Short and simple. I like it, Caleb.
I mean, the only other football thing is NFL Combine this week, and Carlton Johnson with the invite. So he'll be out in, is it still in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Okay, so he'll be out there and, putting on his skills on display, and we'll see. I expect him to run a really fast 40 time. And, I'm not quite sure what other drills the, defensive backs usually go through, but I expect for him to at least be, on the quicker side.
Do you expect him to get drafted?
Oh man, I think I'd expect him to be a later round guy. I think we've talked about this before. He has a bigger frame. He's at least longer. He's got really long arms, so I think that he has a frame where he can build into it, maybe get a little stronger, and I think that the framework is there. He's obviously lightning fast. He has good coverage skills, has a good mentality for a corner. I mean, you see him, talking on the sideline. You kind of have to have that edge and, confidence as a corner. So I think that he has what it takes to, compete for a roster spot in the NFL, and maybe 6th or 7th round, I think, would be huge for Carlton.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he probably goes day 3. I do think he'll get drafted. I also thought that Jalen Cropper would get drafted. That didn't happen. But Carlton will be playing for a spot no matter if he's drafted or not. And Bulldogs Bob makes a good point, and I was one of the first things I thought. If Bland has helped him out tremendously. Well, he's a 6th round draft pick, Ron Bland, and look at him now. Probably the best corner, arguably the best corner in the NFL right now. And you're getting someone who's faster, long and lanky in Carlton, and I think, and a good guy. And he is determined. I mean, he's got a family to provide for, so he's got to make it. And the mentality that he has, I mean, you and I both know, being dads, he's going to put everything on the line to provide for his family. So I am excited for Carlton, and I think he has the skill set to be great in the NFL. We're cheering for you, man. And he's going to get drafted. We're speaking it into existence. And even if he doesn't, he's going to make a team. He'll be fine. So I'm excited for Carlton. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. The other thing that I saw in the football world is that a lot of these independent schools are now joining conferences. Notre Dame is not. And I wanted to ask you, Caleb, this is not related to Fresno State, but Notre Dame, still independent. They are not going to get a bye game because they're not winning their conference. But they don't have to play a conference championship game. So what do you think is better? What would you rather have? Would you rather be in a conference, have to play in a conference championship, win it, and then get a bye, or be Notre Dame, play your independent schedule, do well enough, you're not going to get a bye in the playoff, but you don't have to worry about a conference championship.
Well, I think from a financial perspective, they're probably better off independent. They have their own TV deal. But if we're taking money out of it, I'd definitely rather be in a conference where, especially with the new kind of Super 2, I mean, SEC and Big Ten kind of rising above the other conferences. So I think if I'm Notre Dame, I don't want to be left out of that group. I want to be considered, the highest tier of competition for college football. So I would be shooting for that. I don't know if that would happen. It seems like they're pretty content being an independent, but they also have, scheduling agreements with the ACC. And so they are getting some of the benefits of being affiliated with a conference without actually, having to fully commit. So I do think that if I'm Notre Dame, I'm picking a conference, and hopefully the Big Ten, because geographically it makes the most sense, and just for being the highest caliber of competition for a lofty school like Notre Dame.
Because you see, they did sign a deal with ACC, I believe, in the past, but yeah, you get a Big Ten matchup, and they can keep their rivalries with USC and those schools. So honestly, what I was thinking, it is best for Notre Dame to stay away. As much as I hate saying that, it is best for them to stay away, keep doing their thing. If you are able to dominate your schedule, then you really are going to cause some problems when it comes to selecting at-large teams, and they're going to have to put you in, especially if you're still playing USC and schools like that, and you're winning those games. And I don't want to play a conference championship. I don't want to play the best team and possibly lose. I want to be in for sure. Now, things change dramatically the second that the committee leaves you out. Sorry, we have 3-4 really good SEC teams, 3-4 really good Big Ten teams. Sorry, Notre Dame, join a conference. Then they're going to force my hand, and I have to. Other than that, I think Notre Dame should stay where they're at. But for G5, we're talking G5. I'm happy that we actually get a shot now. This top conference champion gets in. I don't like that they took one of our spots away. I think it's the 5-7 model instead of 6-6. I understand it, but I don't like it. So, I mean, Gabe had me on his show, and he asked me about it, and kind of said, well, we got to control what we can control, win our games. And if you go undefeated, or if you are a one-loss team and your one loss is to Michigan, and you win your conference championship, you're most likely going to get in unless Tulane goes undefeated or something like that, of that nature, App State. So I think, and then I did mention also, we got to beat the New Mexicos and Hawaiis of the world, because every year we seem to trip up on one of them. So we got to focus on what we can control, win the Mountain West first. We really got to focus on what Jeff Tedford says, win the Mountain West, and then go from there. I don't know, what are your thoughts on the G5 getting in the college football playoff and Fresno State?
Definitely glad that the door is still cracked open. I think that, the higher, the other conferences, I guess Power 4, I think they're going to try to shut that door on G5 and the Pac-2. So I'm glad that the opportunity is still there, but it's still going to demand near perfection for, the G5 teams, like Liberty or Tulane or Fresno State or anyone in the Mountain West. I think we're going to have to go undefeated in conference play and play a difficult enough non-con, and, have a solid, strength of schedule and a really good resume. I think it is going to come down to having a solid resume. So not impossible. I mean, we've seen Fresno State and Mountain West teams put it together. So definitely possible. It's going to be interesting, though, seeing, are the G5 teams going to be able to make a run and win 3 or 4 games in a row? Because it's a 12 team. So they're going to have to win. Is it 4 games to be the national champion? I don't know how to do that math, but right. So, I mean, that will take something special for a team. Definitely possible. We've seen it, but in the BCS era, you're just trying to have your best game for one game. Lay it all out there, and it's just one game. But now having to do that 4 times, that's going to be really challenging. And hopefully something exciting happens for the G5 to knock off the big boys. And I'm just glad that the door's still cracked open for us.
I'm with you. It's not going to be like NCAA March Madness. Basketball is just a completely different game, but we now have the opportunity, and which is really exciting. And I can't wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Caleb, anything else? I don't have anything else on the docket. Anything else you want to cover?
I think we just about covered it, but it sounds like this weekend there's plenty of opportunity to go support the Dogs on the Diamond, both baseball and softball. So hopefully the weather cooperates. I think there's some rain in the forecast, but be great to see some good turnouts from the Red Wave supporting the Diamond Dogs.
And basketball still going on.
And basketball, right? Yeah, I've just about deleted that. Unless we get a player coach, then I'm back in.
There we go. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate the support. Hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you guys. And as always, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.